Hello and welcome back to MG Tracy. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe. We'd love it to have on board. Now, each time I'm in the States, I have a wander down Walmart and have a look at all the different vacuum cleaners and carpet shampooers to give you an idea of what you should buy. Now, a lot of the big brands are not here in Walmart, so you won't find anything like Dyson, for example. But you will find a lot of other value vacuums that can do a really good job. And those who've watched my channel before will know I'm not the greatest fan of robot vacuums. If you've just got a hard floor area and you want one upstairs and downstairs, it'll do a reasonable job of getting rid of most of the dust. But for me, they just don't do anywhere as good a job as a fairly cheap vacuum in the hands of a human. They get stuck, all sorts of problems. Now, on the bottom here, you find the more expensive ones have an extra tank at the back. Often they will empty the small dust or HEPA filter here and put it there. But you've got to have somewhere to put this. So I don't find how in a British kitchen there isn't anywhere to dock this without it just being on show all the time. It just simply looks awful. If you're going to put it in a cupboard, you've got to remember to leave that cupboard open. You've almost got to design your kitchen with this in mind, and I wouldn't mind betting in 2 or 3 years they won't look anything like that. Also, they just do not cope well with carpets, and most in the UK floors are still carpeted, a bit different out here in America. Here in Walmart there are 3 main brands that you'll see a lot of. One is Tineco, and they've had a bit of a price crash. They're about half what they were a few years ago. Shark is the brand leader here in the US and in the UK, and you find a good selection of Bissell. So at the moment, one of the cheapest vacuums you've got, which is almost a handheld one with a few bits you clip on, is only $37.96, and obviously that's mains. It's got a decent enough cable. It doesn't have any brilliant HEPA filters or anything like that, but it'll do a good job. It's good on the stairs. If you need a lightweight vacuum, that sort of thing works quite well. Then you've got other displays here like this one here, which is the Shark Rocket, and it all looks pretty good here. But of course, that's not showing you this is a cable vacuum. There's no cable on the demo model, but if you look carefully, it has a cord. So it's $129, but you're going to have to be plugged into the mains, and it's true for the next of the range as well. They have other bits and pieces like LED lights on the front. The different ones have different type of cleaner, depends really what you want. If you've got a carpet, this type of rotating brush is better. If you're doing mainly hard floor, this type of brush is better. But they're pretty good with hair. Moving on to these Tineco ones here, these are all cordless, and these were $400 just a couple of years ago. They've completely repositioned the pricing of them, and they're a pretty good sort of Dyson copy, really. They deal with pet hair. They have lots of extra bits and pieces if you want attachments. And the bigger ones can show you how much battery is left as well. I wouldn't believe there's zero tangle from hair. Hair gets everywhere the minute you've got any rotating brushes, and you will need to be able to take these heads apart, and you'll find hair gets everywhere, even in the little joins here where the motor is pushing the bar here. At the end here, we've got another batch of Sharks. Now, these ones are all cordless, and I find that much easier. The battery life on cordless vacuums is fantastic. And when you get towards the top end here, you're now looking at $300. You've got a lot of good features that you'll find really good. It has an infrared sensor that checks how much dirt and debris is coming up and the size of it, and it automatically adjusts the power the motor is putting on the vacuum to pick up that debris. If it's pretty clean, you don't use too much batteries. You've got accelerated suction boost with the design of the inside of here to keep you vacuuming at full power when you need it. And also it has this clean sense bar here, and that basically will tell you if the floor is clean and you've done your job. Now, a lot of the bigger models have this, which is an odour neutraliser, which Shark really like because they get to sell you these pods one every month to make your vacuum smell nice. To be honest, if it's not smelling nice and it's smelling of old dog, then you need to change the filters or clean it. I think covering that smell with an air freshener is probably not the best thing to do. So if you have a hard floor, then as well as vacuuming it, you will find every so often you need to give it a good old mop. And there's a couple of electronic versions here. They're often steam, and you'll find the Shark has a steam and scrub, and it has mini versions of these things you would have seen when you was at school or leisure centre. The rotating brushes, they're microfiber, they come off at the end of the day and they'll be filthy, and then they just go in your washing machine to be cleaned. If you've got a hard floor, you'll find that is very useful, as well as vacuuming. Yeah, so we all just used to have one vacuum, and I think in my parents' day it was always a Hoover. Now, not only if you've got carpets will you need a vacuum, but you're going to need a carpet shampooer, and if you've got a hard floor, you're probably going to want a steam mop as well. Now, there's an awful range of different ones here from the different brands, and they all work in almost exactly the same way. They at the top have your, I always use warm water with the relevant detergent that comes from the manufacturer. In the bottom, you've got the dirty water that the machine has put into the carpet and then taken out again. As you know, if you've seen this before, this model is sold in Europe as a Vax and various other names, but I prefer this one. And the reason I found it more effective in actually using it is the way the brushes are. So if you can see there, it has 5 high-speed spinning, rotating brushes that are going that way, and they alternate, and that really gives you that spin scrub depth of clean in your carpet. Most of the others use what almost looks like a converted vacuum roller, and it is just spinning one direction. It just doesn't get the carpets as clean. I'm not sure why everyone hasn't copied what Hoover have done there, because they're ahead of the game. The other thing you find with the Hoover version or the Vax in Europe is that it will heat, so that when it pumps some air in afterwards, it heats that air like a hairdryer, and that means that the carpet can be almost completely dry on one of the settings within an hour. So if you had a disaster and you've still got guests coming around this evening, then that'll do the job for you. Now, all these models, you've got to vacuum well the area before you use a shampooer. So that one I particularly like there is currently $149, and there's various other price points. Some are below $100 now, which is very good. And then as we move up with the top Bissell there, it's almost $400. That one I think uses some steam. I'm not sure that makes any difference to cleaning the carpets. Here's a couple of the new Shark looking ones, but again, they're all working in pretty much the same way. They have different stair attachments, most of them have that. It's not easy to use these on the stairs, to be honest. I think I'd prefer to have a hand one. You're trying to stretch this right up to the top of the stairs, and you feel like the machine on the bottom of the top is going to catapult itself down and garrote you. So I'm not sure that's an awful lot of use. I think really for $150 you can get what you need. These ones are spot cleaners, so these are for doing particular quick spills. Yes, I suppose if you've got a pet, it might be handy, but given they are about the same cost, the one in the middle there is almost $200. I think for 150 quid, I just get the big one, and you can do everything with that. So I hope you found my quick catch-up of vacuums, robotic vacuums, steam mops and carpet shampooers very useful here in Walmart. If you've got any questions, then hit the comments below and I'll try and get back to you in a day or so and answer any questions you have. If you can subscribe, that will be excellent. That will really help me. This is Paul from London, currently in the States, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio.